Hello everyone, my name is Irnella, and in this video, I want to explain about TOEFL ITP strategy in listening session with my partner Shinta. For the materials, they are short dialogue where there are three sub-material. First is about specific information and drawing conclusion. Second is understanding agreement and negative expressions. And the third is understanding contrary meaning, phrasal verbs, and idioms. Then long dialogue and talks where there are three sub-materials too. First is identifying topic. Second is understanding specific information, and the third is making inference and understanding implied meaning.
The general strategies to take TOEFL tests in a listening session. First is understanding the direction. Second is listen to the passage carefully. Third is always focus to the audio. Last is never give an empty answer. In the short dialogue, you have to pay attention to some of these things. The key or clue is on the second speaker or the second line. Avoid to choose the answer that have a similar sound and must choose the answer with synonym.
Because it is a short dialogue, it contains two lines and the question usually point to the second speaker. The answer is with synonym. For example, I have no time to do it. The synonym is she or he is very busy. It can be concluded that the person has no free time.
For the option, there is only one answer as the correct answer between four logic answer. And as I told before, the correct answer usually write with the synonym.
For the anticipate questions, you can answer the question quickly, at least 15 seconds, and then prepare to read the next option and try to guess what the next question is.
In the listening section, there is a gap between next question, so in that time it can be used to read the next answer and be able to guess the next question.
In this section, the questions that often appear are who, what, and where. The question who used to ask someone who is talking, whether that the person is a teacher, student, or office worker. The question what usually asks the next activity the person might do. The question where is common to ask when the conversation took place, whether at school, office, or at home. There are three types of negative expressions, such as not or anti like didn't. Other negatives like nobody, none, nothing, never, and negative prefix like an, in, is, im. The example word for negative prefix like unpredictable, inactive, disappoint, and impatient.
Types of double negative expression. There are three types. First is negative word and negative prefix. The example negative words like not, no, no one. Second is two negative verbs and then neither or not, either.
There are two common types of almost negative expressions. They are almost done and almost never. For the almost done, the word is like hardly, barely, scarcely, only. The almost never words are like rarely, seldom.
Negative with comparative. A sentence with a negative and comparative has a superlative meaning. There are two types of negative with comparative. Use more or. For example, is more intelligent, more beautiful, happier, and prettier.
Expressions of agreement. It is shown by positive and negative statement. There are two types. First is with positive statement, for example, so do I, or me too. Second is with negative statement, for example, neither do I, or I don't either.
There are wishes and untrue conditions. A wish implies that the opposite of the wish is true, while untrue condition is a condition implies that the opposite of the condition is true.
Two and three part verbs are expressions that include a verb and one or more particles like in, on, at. The particle changes the meaning of the verb. For example, called in means being called by someone, while called off means cancelled. Pay attention to the idioms. For example, when the second speaker said, I can do the exam, it is piece of cake. It means that the exam is easy to do.
First is pay attention to the first speaker or line, and then try to determine the topics of the conversation by looking from the answer option before you actually hear the conversation on recording.
Then anticipate the topics that we'll be hearing. For examples, it is about some aspect of school life, type of social issue, or someone's trip planning. Then from the questions, try to look briefly in the test paper or book.
The inference question usually uses the word that implies and asks the listener to understand the meaning of something that is not directly stated. You should listen carefully to the conversation. The question that commonly asked in here like, what does the profession imply about? Or what can be inferred about?
To answer the questions, first, you can identify the speaker's tone or emotions when speaking about the topic that is being asked about. Is it upset, angry, happy, or uncertain? Does it seem to like or dislike something?
Then, pay attention to the main idea and organization of the conversation. If you're having difficulty choosing an answer, you can eliminate any answer that different from the main ideas of the conversation.
Also, avoid the answer that contain the exact same words from the speaker. The correct answer won't be stated outright in the conversation. It usually paraphrases any key ideas from the conversation.
That's all from us. I hope that our video helps you to do the TOEFL question in the listening session.